Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of January 23rd, 2021. I am the smartest man alive, Caleb Black. This is the not-so-smart Luke the Big Dog
Only
Williams.
answered 9 out of 10 questions.
This is our in-studio producer, the mighty Maximus Furious, and it is time for the Master Debate. We've been given...
Grow up!
Grow up, bro! Grow up! We've been given a series of questions, got a whole notebook full of them, that people want to see us debate regarding wrestling. We are going to take pro sides, the resolve side, and the... I forget, what is the other official word for debate? Whatever. Pro, con, pro, positive, whatever you want to say. We're going to take these topics, we're going to hammer them out. It's just another excuse for us to argue today, because that's what we've been doing all day, and frankly, these videos are fucking fun to make.
Yep, they are.
So, let's get started with the very first question. Max, you are our moderator for the Master Debate. We start off with, let's not start off with the big one yet. We're going to start off ease into it. Should TNA, currently Impact, have kept their six-sided ring? I am going to argue against. Luke, you are going to make your case for. Max, you will be the determining judge in the argument as to who makes the more compelling argument.
Why do I always get the hardest job?
Because you're the other guy in the room. Because
You're the keeper of the points.
yeah, you're the points guy. Which, by the way, now, I'd like to reiterate that I now have 13 because I managed to stump the dog. Sucks, doesn't it? That's right. You'll get your chance to stump me at SummerSlam. Which is 8 months away.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. So, Luke, make your argument. Should TNA's Impact have continued using the six-sided ring? And you get 2 minutes on the clock, starting 3, 2, 1, go.
My argument's a very simple one. Impact, TNA. I'm going to say TNA because Impact really didn't have the six-sided ring. The six-sided ring was a pro because it was something different. It was what made TNA stand out in the first place was the six-sided ring. It was the hook that was everything WWE was doing. It was different. The X Division, the Ultimate X, all of these things would not have been invented without the six-sided ring. The six-sided ring, it was its own character, so to speak. It was the proverbial third man. Like I said, it was everything WWE wasn't doing. There was more room for different spots. There was that's really 2 minutes to fill.
2 minutes, buddy.
I thought maybe that would be enough. When they took away the six-sided ring, it's when Impact's viewership fell. Because people wanted to see something different. They didn't want to see the same thing every night. And Impact, when they got rid of the six-sided ring, did the blue ropes and the square ring, which was nothing more than a cheap version of SmackDown. Six-sided ring was something new, something fresh. It was basically the jump-off point in the war between WWE and TNA. I'm good.
You want to close your argument? 20 seconds.
In closing, fuck him. Give me the point.
Well, I would have, but you lost.
1 out of 10 questions.
4, 3, 2, 1. The six-sided ring, while being a personality of Impact, logistically, yes, it was a difference, but is different for the sake of being different a good thing. Number one, the six-sided ring is far stiffer, far harder for wrestlers to land on, much more difficult to navigate. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see them run the ropes and kind of cool to see them go from place to place, but you have to consider every single bump they took was 10,000 times harder than it would have been on a traditional ring simply because of the crossbars. You only have crossbars going one of two directions in a traditional sided ring. In this particular instance, you had 6, one going from each barister, or 3 rather, not including the center bar, which held it all together. Not to mention, everything Impact wrestlers did in a 6-sided ring, they very well could have done in a 4-sided ring. Yes, it was different. Yes, it mitigated people watching. But had booking been more substantiated, had they utilized the top talent they were getting from the WWE in a more appropriate way, there's absolutely an argument that can be said that the six-sided ring was nothing more than something visually different. When really TNA's root problem had nothing to do with changing the ring, it was the booking. And yeah, again, it's cool. But look at the design. Number one, each set of ropes were significantly shorter, which means they had less give, which means really hitting the ropes were less impressive. Go back and watch every Impact match. When they hit the ropes, they don't hit them nearly as hard as you would hit a traditional set of ropes. Why? They're not designed to be hit that way. They're a lot harder to hit that way when they're shorter because there's no resistance, there's no give. In conclusion to my argument, while I still have 25 seconds on the clock, because you're right, I think 2 minutes is pretty egregious. A six-sided ring functionally does not work for a full-time professional wrestler. It's harder to navigate, it's harder to work, and it's even harder for camera angles to properly accommodate which wrestler is where. All of those things aesthetically are displeasing to a traditional wrestling fan.
And time.
Given the arguments, I gotta agree with Caleb. He was like, I didn't think I was going to. I didn't want to. I don't want to agree with Caleb.
It'd just be one more thing I was right about today.
The functionality part makes it, really brings it together. Like
And AJ Styles even went on to say in several interviews afterward, bumping in a WWE ring was, if he'd have been bumping in a four-sided ring, his back he would have never needed to take the time off to rehabilitate his back.
True.
It was specifically because that ring was just so fucking hard. All right, well, that's one for me.
We're going to cut these to a minute apiece.
Yeah, that's fine. Well,
we'll
fill time. We'll fill time, yeah. All right, the next question. Now we'll go to the future question because I want to save the big one. Who is the future of professional wrestling? My pick is MJF, and I think we should also get a rebuttal for each one to say why your guy's the right pick instead of my guy, like we did with the last ones. And my time starts now. MJF, at 23 years old, knows more about navigating the professional wrestling business, its ins and outs, than anyone else of his age. Every other 20-year-old is so concerned with getting all their shit in and doing all the flippy moves and not learning the intricacies of the business. MJF is also 100% committed to his gimmick. He is better than you, and you do know it, and you feel that way. You feel like he's a pretentious dick. He also doesn't break character for the sake of maintaining that fact. He's learned more about panache, swagger, and utilizing them in an appropriate way in the ring without it being too distracting. The way he wrestles is smart, which means he's going to live a long time as far as professional wrestling's body is concerned. He doesn't put himself at stupid risk for the sake of spots, but everything he does still makes you watch. QED, the MJF versus Cody Rhodes match at the beginning of last year, was a simple, traditional, Southern-style wrestling fight, but it was absolutely perfect. MJF's the future, Don.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
And I will go in 3, 2, 1. I don't believe that the future of professional wrestling has made his debut yet. I believe that in the world of professional wrestling at this time, the established names that are there now will continue to run until the next generation of professional wrestlers. MJF, while he is good, and he is good, stickman in the ring, everything, his longevity in this business will peter out about the same time the people who are in this business now are finished. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. I don't believe that the future of professional wrestling is really there yet. There's a lot of people who you could say could be the future of professional wrestling. I just don't see anybody there that's going to...
Oh, no, go ahead. I'll give you
that's going to break the glass ceiling that has been put up by so many wrestlers.
And now time. So your pick for the future of wrestling is that there isn't one right now?
Not right yet, no.
Okay. Max?
I gotta agree with Luke.
I think you're both wrong.
I don't. I think that when MJF is ready to hang up the boots, there will still be people who are above him now that will still be in the game.
Maybe.
It's a possibility. Because, I mean, when he hangs it up, people like Jungle Boy and them are still going to be active.
Jungle Boy's older than MJF. It's fair to say that Jungle Boy will also be... They're the
Jungle
exact same
Boy's
age.
older than MJF.
By 1 year. Yeah.
Regardless,
It's fair to say that he himself will have been in that precipice to have retired by then.
Okay, well then, yeah, I agree with what I had said. I don't believe that the future's here yet.
Well, that was a dumb argument. All right.
But I won.
Well, no accounting for taste. All right, here's the big one. Who is responsible for the Montreal screw job? We each get 1 minute on the clock to make our case. Luke, make your case. Starting now.
This is a very one-sided argument as well because it's Bret Hart's fault. Bret Hart refused to do the job. He refused to do what we are all told to do the honor and to pass to the next person. He refused to do that. He refused to do the job, regardless of what his political whatever it was backstage. You do what your boss tells you to do. He's the one signing your checks. For you to believe in your own hype so much to believe that you were above the way the business works is ridiculous. No one is above the business. Not Vince McMahon, not Bret Hart, not nobody. You do what you're supposed to do because that's how the game works. If you're asked to drop the title, you drop the title. Because why? Titles are meaningless. The championship belt is nothing more than a prop.
Oof.
Bret Hart bought into the fact that he thought he was champion. You're only champion because you're booked that way.
My rebuttal. Vince McMahon is 100% responsible for the Montreal screw job. He has full control of his product at all times. He could have found 1,000 separate avenues to take that belt off of Bret Hart, even mitigating it legally, while still protecting the business. He instead allowed for this massive display on television to be so ostentatious that it not only opened the final curtain that was closed to the business, but created the controversy we still discuss today. If he wanted the belt off of Bret all that much, he had the money, he could have offered him more. He could have found someone to legitimately beat Bret to take it off of him and continue his plans for later. But no, because Bret didn't want to do what Big Daddy Vince said he had to do, Vince instead decided to create a hokey finish without a legitimate winner for an illegitimate championship. The responsibility, regardless of who believes what, is entirely Vince McMahon's fault because he is in full control at all times.
No. Both were very good arguments. I have to say that Bret totally screwed Bret. That's just, like you said, that's just the way it is. You do what you're told to do. I can see it, what you're saying, though, with Vince doing all that. But at the same time, maybe Vince is a genius. Because, like you said, if it hadn't happened, we wouldn't be where we are. So maybe Vince is just a genius.
Almost like it was a work.
Yeah.
Almost like it was planned that way.
Let it happen. But Bret still screwed Bret. Vince just let it happen.
So I'm confused. Who won that?
Bret screwed Bret.
Thank you.
That's bullshit. 100% bullshit.
Time
Under
honored
Vince's
tradition.
supervision.
Right. Vince allowed it to happen. That's bullshit.
I spit soda all over myself.
All right, guys. Well, that's our new debate segment. We're going to be trying this out for a couple weeks. See what the response is. Give us topics. We love to argue about wrestling. I love being right. He loves being right. We're both often right. Give us some stuff that he and I can even...
9 out of 10 times.
9 out of 10 times. Only takes that one time, though. That's really all that matters. Give us feedback. Give us some topics you want to hear us discuss. You can do that by leaving us a comment down below after you like and subscribe. You can send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown. You can follow us on Twitter at prowrestlingtd. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got a couple more videos coming your way.